Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Tech on Productions. Today I, Bancroft, will be bringing you all my Tien deck profile. Now this is definitely a theme-based deck profile, and when I was making this one, I had like two different engines going into it. I was like, oh, I could go this route or go this route. I'm like, no, I want to make it more theme-based. So this is the theme-based deck profile. I'm going to, when I get a chance, take the other version to local, see how it does. If it performs well, I'll profile as well with a duel. The match with this deck will be premiering tomorrow, so I'm not going to kind of give away how well this deck did, but I will say in the end, I was surprised. So, like always, there's buttons. Feel free to click them if you want, but that's about it for that. Tien. Bringing back World Martial Art characters were always one of my favorite things. So, when this card attacks, you draw one card, then add the one card from your life to your hand. So if you have a problem with a deck that doesn't want to swing against you and trying to keep you at high life so you don't awaken, no problem. Self-awakening. Activate Main. Add up to one green Chaozu card with a 5,000 power or less from your deck to your hand, then shuffle your deck and negate this skill for the game. So it allows you to go ahead and bring the one-drop Chaozu to your hand, which I play the one with the blocker, and we'll get into that a little bit later on the road. And then Awaken, if your life is 4 or less, you may play 3 multi-form Tien cards. Oh my goodness! Where are my tokens? I had them here. He multiplies. So once he's a multiplying fiend, he becomes the Awakened side of him. Mysterious Technique. Auto when this card attacks, draw one card, and it gains 5,000 power, which is amazing in itself. Now, the second auto, you have to have at least 3 Tien Shinhan's cards or multi-form tokens in play to get the secondary effect off. But, make sure I get this right for y'all. When this card attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost 4 or less and KO it. This card gains crit for a turn. That is amazing because this deck likes to play a lot of cards for fairly cheap by using certain autos, and Black Mass Power Saiyan, the one drop Black Mass Saiyan really gets in the way of that a lot of times. So you can swing with this, go ahead and pop that, or you can pop a block or any other small pesky card. As long as it doesn't have barrier, you're good to go. So yeah, 20k crit potentially, draw one card, amazing. So, the first card I'm going to show you is that if you're playing a green World Martial Arts deck, you have to incorporate this just for kicks. At least I do, because it's a theme-based one. Trading Blows, Sun, Goku. It's a great card to play on turn 1 because what it does is that when this card's played, if you win a card's World Tournament, and your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand, your opponent chooses one card in their hand and places in the drop area. There really isn't a lot of hand control in this deck, but it's just nice, like early game, to put this down there to get rid of a card. Outside of that, it could be definitely a charge target, it could be a combo card. But for the theme and the memory's sake, I had to incorporate this in the deck. Alright, so next card is the card we go for with the leader's ability. Chaozu, Unwanted Reunion. Blocker, but the auto is where it's amazing. If your leader card is green Tien, when this card is KO, add up to one card from your life to your hand, play up to one green Tien card with an energy cost of 3 from your deck. Then shuffle your deck. The card you play with the skill can't attack until the end of your next turn. So, if you get this card on turn 1 instead, immediately when your opponent swings on their turn, you block with this card, get the 3-drop Tien on board. You cannot swing with it on your following turn, but the turn afterwards is when you can actually use it, which is pretty nice. But keep in mind, that 3-drop Tien has barrier. So if you're doing it on your opponent's like turn 1 swing, most likely they're not going to be able to do anything about that barrier. Good to go. So, but barrier, activate main once per turn, choose one mercenary towel, trading blows in your battle area, KO it. If your leader card is green World Martial Arts, switch this card to active mode, and for the duration of the turn, this card gains 5,000 power and double strike. Yes, I know there's another Chaozu card that I think it's like 1 energy to combo or 2 energy to combo, and it restands a Tien, which goes great with this engine. I did not incorporate that in this deck. You could totally add it if you feel like you want to. Maybe a sideboard option, but I just didn't feel the need to add that card at all. And the 4-drop towel it's talking about is Trading Blows, which is just right here. I do play 2 of them because I really don't want to see them in my hand because the 3-drop plays it using its auto. But in case you're curious, Double Strike, if I were to pay the 4 energy for it, when you play this card, if your leader card is green World Martial Arts Tournament and Tien trading moves is in play in your battle area, your opponent chooses 3 cards in their hand and places them in their drop area. I never once paid the 4 energy for this card. Because the 3-drop Mercenary Towel, first of all, the activate main for 1 green energy. If you have a green World Tournament card in play, play this card from your hand, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 1 or less and KO it. Another way of getting rid of Black Mass Sand, which is pretty nice. Alright, the auto though. For 1 energy, place this card in its owner's drop area. When this card deals damage to your opponent by attacking, play up to 1 green Mercenary Towel with an energy cost of 4 from your deck. With its skills negated, then shuffle your deck afterwards. Once you establish a Tien on your second turn, you play Mercenary Towel, you swing, hopefully they don't negate, and you combo it just a little bit, make sure that attack goes in. Then you play the 4-drop Towel. You can't swing a Tien, but then on your third turn, you're good to go. Alright, so that's the 3s and under. Alright, so for the next little engine, Son Goku, the long-awaited rematch. Now this is one of the cards that came from this particular set. Unique barrier: if your opponent has 3 or more energy and you have Tien long-awaited rematch in play, in your battle area, this card gains 10,000 power and triple strike. And the auto is even better. Sorry, this card was eroded to be an activate main. I know it says auto because it's just what it is, but if I'm correct, I'll throw it on the screen. There, boom. All right, for 1 green energy, if all your energy is green and you have a green battle card in play, play this card from your hand, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. So it's another way of helping you just quickly self-awaken as soon as possible. 1 energy to play this card. And then, for 2 energy, activate main. 2 energy. If you have a Son Goku long-awaited rematch in play, play this card from your hand. Deflect double strike. So your opponent cannot stop this card from being played. Now, granted, yes, there are some counter plays that have an auto that allows you to choose a card, and that would definitely hit this one. But it's a double strike. And the permanent, this card can't be played from any area by skills other than its own. So, 2 energy, there you go. So you have this on the board. You swing with that, triple strike. It's a great way to finish the game. For pesky problems, I play 2 of the double impact Krillin. Auto, when you play this card, choose to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 2 or less, ignoring barrier, and KO it. That could just shut a deck down. That could get rid of a pesky card that's stopping you from going off. So, works however you want to do it. Play 2 of the King Piccolo Limitless Power. Now, this is the last second add-on, but it's double strike, and technically it's a free play, but you do need 4 energy to get it off. So, if you have 4 or more energy, you may choose 2 World Martial Art cards in any battle areas, negate their skills for the duration of the turn, and place them in their owner's drop area. If you do, play this card from your hand. You cannot activate King Piccolo Limitless Power for the duration of the turn. So I can't play both in the same turn. But if I see it, it's a good card to go for. And targets that you could use that with. Definitely that Trading Blow Goku from earlier. You know, if I want to use that. If I've already swung, like if I'm going all out against my opponent and they survive all the attacks, and if I want to get rid of one of the 5 drops, 4 drops, 3 drops, fine, I'll do that as well. Or on earlier turns, announcer 1 drop to negate the attacks. Or you can play this announcer to, if there are 2 or more World Martial Arts other than this card in play, in your battle area, draw 2 cards. So it's either draw 2 for 1 energy, or it's a counter attack that plays itself. Or, ever curious, when this card is played, if your looted cards will tournament, look up the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 world tournament among them, add it to your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. Plenty of 1-drop options for that. Just second guess myself. Yeah, World Martial Arts, World Tournament. Just had to make sure. For some reason, I thought I said green all of a sudden. But no. So I have plenty of options to use it for that Piccolo, which is great. So we're going to go into the Unison. Because like I said, I'm going the theme route right now. This is the launch, the wild one. So if your leader wasn't green, for example, if you're using the new Bulma leader, you could use this launch for that one as well. For 2 energy, you play it for that way. But for us, 2 green energy is good enough. Activate main for 1 marker. Look up the 5 cards top of your deck. Add up to 1 World Tournament card or Heroine card among them and add it to your hand. Then shuffle your deck afterwards. If you wanted to do the -1, which is great, choose any number of your opponent's battle cards whose total energy cost adds up to 3 and KO them. So like I said, there's plenty of ways to get rid of pesky cards with this deck, which is why I loved it. So those are all the cards that practically, so everything I've shown so far, the +1 marker will work for this effect. Every card so far has been a World Tournament card. The next bit of cards are not, and I will justify this first one. You could play the green Chi-Chi Super Combo, which is a World Tournament card. I chose not to. I went with the Great Saiyaman. Reason being is because this deck does search a lot of itself out by using other skills. So there's a higher chance that I will find the Super Combo when I need it. But there's certain cards, like the Chaozu and the 3-drop Mercenary Tao, which both state on their cards, if this card would KO, add up to 1 3-drop Tien from your deck. Mercenary Tao, place up for 1 energy, play up to 1 green Mercenary Tao with energy cost 4 from your deck. I chose to go 2 of those because those aren't as big of a problem. I went with 3 of these because these work with the leader's effect. But with the Gohan Super Combo, I could put any of these 3-drops or the 4-drops back into my deck, or the bottom of my deck. That way they're there for the later effects. So, like I said, you could play the Chi-Chi. It's more searchable, but I wanted to be able to way to put these other cards back into my deck, and that's why I chose to go with the Great Saiyaman one instead. Because this is a green deck, and first we're going to go into my 1 Goku Solar Flare negate. It puts my negates up to 8, and it activate main. If I have the 4-drop Goku on board, I can use the activate main, which will prevent my opponent from activating blocker. Where are you? Yeah, so if your leader card is green, Son Goku card, or a World Tournament card, choose up to 4 of your opponent's battle cards. Those cards can't activate blocker skills for the turn. If you have a green Son Goku in play, draw 1 card. That's the Goku fact. So if I'm trying to go for in-game, my opponent has blockers that I don't feel like dealing with or want to get rid of a marker, or if I don't have enough Tiens, I can play this. That way they have to take the hits, unfortunately. Unless they would negate them, of course. Alright, now the next set is because I'm playing green. You have to expect it. 3 Frieza. I could go 4, but like I said, once again, this deck does draw enough. It does search enough of itself out. So seeing this card isn't a problem. 4 Dormant Potentials. I mean, I'm taking my life on most of my effects. If I'm playing against a super aggro deck, I won't I won't take a life all the time. But Dormant Potential allows me to stop aggro decks from going too hard. Obviously, first attack goes through, then I can turn around and negate the second attack with like the Announcer if I wanted to. Now I have a card on board that works with the King Piccolo for down the road. And last but not least, I chose to go with the Majin Buu. If I know if I'm going for that triple strike, was it 30, 25k triple strike, and my opponent negates, I could just do that to get it through. I know you can play Cell Xeno with this deck as well. Either one, in my opinion, is really good. Obviously, Cell Xeno is most likely the better choice, so if you want to incorporate Cell Xeno, go ahead. If you don't have that, find that route. I chose to go with the Majin Buu Incarnate. But that was my choice. But yeah, that was my theme-based Tien deck. Like I said, it did surprisingly well. Look forward to tomorrow's match when I play against James's Nappa deck. So, like always, guys, thanks for tuning in. Remember, there's buttons. Click them. Yay! All right, cool. Read your cards, know your plays, and fluff out.